is Brad brought me this stave. It was my job to take his collaborative, innovative idea and figure out how to make this work with Maker's Mark. What we decided and what I decided to do was to start with Maker's Mark. So what you're tasting is actually Maker's Mark bourbon, just like you buy it, just like this right here. Then introduced to the stave. And the way we do it is 150 barrels get dumped to make Maker's Mark like we always do. I make that recipe, we put it into a tank. We then take the barrels that we just emptied and we pull them out, we stand them up, and we remove one end of the barrel. We take the head out. These stave pieces are actually about 2.5 feet long, and there'll be 5 of them, and there'll be a hole drilled through the middle of each one, and a plastic rod that goes through there that has a little spacer to keep the boards from touching, so they're about that far apart. We then take and lean down inside the barrel that we just emptied, screw those into place so that they kind of line the interior on both sides. So it's a total of 10 of these staves placed inside the barrel. So if you envision the barrel being like this, they're lining the inside. We put the head back in, we roll the barrel back around, and we take out the Maker's Mark that we just pulled out of those barrels and put it back in the barrels, and then put that back in the warehouse for 2 to 3 months. And so that's how we're getting this spicy, unique wood flavor. Now what's interesting, the question was, what's the target audience? If you were to taste an older bourbon, even Maker's Mark after being in the barrel for 12 years, you're going to get a spiciness to it, but that's not this forward cinnamon, interesting spice. You're going to get that back palate spice. We have designed this to be an innovative, different cousin, if you will, to Maker's Mark, designed for those people who enjoy Maker's Mark, but whose complaint is sometimes too drinkable. Sometimes I like to go for something that's got a little bit more spice, a little bit more edge, a little bit more, if you will, of that kind of whiskey flavor that tends to make you feel like, wow, I can still taste that. Where Maker's was too smooth. Now, does this mean it's better than Maker's Mark? I don't think so. I think it's very different. And if you go back to, again, what I find interesting about this, in my own opinion, is there are different aromas and flavors that continue to come out. The complexity of this is it's a different zone. You're going to get, because of this, you're getting a lot more caramelization of the wood, but the vanilla flavors that are coming out because of the 18 months of seasoning that's going to take place. And then this process of searing and trapping flavors on the inside is very unique. We're the only people in the bourbon business that have tried this. Now, does my baby have big ears? The real answer to that question is it may. But I'm here to tell you there's been a lot of people that have looked at this and tried this and walked away saying, that's incredible. I still love Maker's Mark, but this is a different style of bourbon. It's giving me a spice that I can't find in other bourbons, because the only way they get that type of spice is either through a lot of rye, which tends to also be sides and back, or excess wood. Okay? This still has that front finish that Maker's Mark is so well known for. But one of the things that I'm finding interesting from bartenders as I've tried it is they're immediately saying, I can't wait to try this in a cocktail. Specifically, one of the things they mentioned is a Manhattan. Because I actually had one bartender look at me and say, that tastes like a rye whiskey. Did you guys make a rye whiskey? And I said, no. And he says, I find it very difficult to believe that a wheated bourbon can have that much spice to it. So now, did you notice the spice?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
oh.
yeah, everyone, oh yeah. Okay, so that's not a hidden thing, and it is different. Now, whether you like it or not, that's fine. You may or you may not. You may come back and go, I still like that rich caramel, smooth, matched up nose with aroma flavor that I get from Maker's Mark. But I do think that what's going to be interesting about this is that there's going to be kind of a different occasion, even as we're trying for the first time for me, trying Maker's 46 here at Sola restaurant in a dessert, that it's like that coffee is bringing, you can see that Maker's 46 kind of spiciness. It's like almost like putting a cinnamon in your coffee to me. Now, I like cinnamon flavor. You like cinnamon? If you don't like cinnamon, you may be like, that's not for me. So, what do you guys think?
I like it.
I think it's really good. I think it's someone might choose one over the other, but I think they're two completely different products. So you can't really compare them. I mean, they're both amazing in their own individual way. They're amazing.
Well, I think that's a great compliment for you to actually recognize the difference, whether you like them both or you just like one. that's still a preference. You know, you may still say, no, for me, Makers is the one, or no. I've actually had people say, they're kind of shocked. They don't know what to say because they say, I actually like this one better. And I'm like, it's okay. I mean, it's not like you're allowed to not like this one more than Makers. But I do want you to know, even at our price point, we're going to sell this in the U.S. about somewhere between $5 to $6 to $8 to $10 more than Maker's Mark, because the process of making these staves, inserting these staves, handling these barrels, I mean, basically we're refilling the barrels, putting them back in the warehouse for 2 to 3 months. That's going to cost us extra money. So the big thing that I would say to the folks that are trying Maker's 46 is we didn't come out with an enhanced Maker's Mark and charge $50 a bottle for it, which is the tendency when people come out with a new bourbon that's special, that's unique, that's going to be in short supply. We're actually not trying to gimmick this thing. This is actually supposed to be out of flavor. And whether or not it's going to survive is going to be based upon whether people actually like the taste of it, not because it's a gimmick. So, welcome to Makers 46. Good news is we're still making Maker's Mark as well for those of you that find Makers to be still your drink of choice. But I think what you'll find is the target audience is a lot of the whiskey connoisseurs, and I'm real excited about being here at Whiskey Fest in Chicago because there's going to be a few people out there that have been tough critics of Maker's Mark because we are so popular and because we are so well received by bars, because we are so mixable, and because, as they like to say, we're too easy to drink. This, I think, might give them an opportunity to come back into the Maker's world a little bit and say, this is interesting and this is new.